Peeing outside the litter box, attacking people, chasing other cats, destroying furniture. These are some of the most common behavioral issues we experience with cats. Sometimes they can be a cause of health issues, but often they aren't. Once you rule out that your cat isn't experiencing a health issue, it's time to look at what is causing these behaviors. I'm going to talk about the most common behavioral issues or challenging issues when it comes to caring for a cat. The biggest issue, and one that I have experienced so much throughout my time of owning cats, is misuse of the litter box. There can be so many reasons that your cat is not using the litter box correctly. That means they are going beside the litter box, or on the couch, or on the bed, or up against a wall. The first thing is to look at where you are keeping your litter box. Cats can be really picky about the location of the litter box, especially if you have more than one cat in the house. You also want to look at the type of litter that you are keeping in the box and the type of box. If it has a hood and is covered, if it has a small hole to get in or a big hole, if your cat has enough room to move around in the litter box. Cats have different preferences, and it's trial and error to really figure out what works for your cat. Some like sand and some like pellets. Some don't like the perfumey smell in the litter that you are using. Some don't like litter that clumps. You really just have to figure it out by trying different types of boxes, different litters. But when it comes to location, cats like to go in an area that they won't be interrupted or spooked. They don't want to feel trapped, or they don't want to feel that they can be attacked or watched while they are using the litter box. If you have a cat that is picking on another cat or making another cat feel uncomfortable, you will often notice it happening around the litter box. Maybe they will block their access to using the litter box, or attack them when they are coming out of the litter box, or even when they're inside the box. If the litter box is dirty, that is a huge reason cats will go somewhere else. They don't like the smell. They don't like to go in boxes that are dirty. Misuse of the litter box is often a health issue. That's why I mentioned in the beginning, it's really important to check their health. It could be a urinary tract infection, a kidney infection. So make sure that you rule health issues out first. But back to location. When it comes to litter boxes, do not keep the litter box near where your cat eats or drinks. Keep it somewhere quiet where there's not much traffic, people walking by, other animals walking by. Keep it clean. And if you have more than one cat, make sure that you have one litter box per cat. So if you have 3 cats, you need 4 boxes. 2 cats, 3 boxes. That's just a standard rule to go by. The second most common issue after litter boxes is counter surfing. Jumping on counters, especially the kitchen counter, is really common. My cats do it all the time. 2 reasons for this. Food, obviously. Not all cats are food motivated or like human food, but all cats can usually find something, especially if you have meat. The second reason is countertops are up high, and cats like to be up high. They like vertical space. Cats have a really good sense of smell, so they will definitely smell the food that you are cooking or anything that you have left on the counter. And they might like to just relax and lay up on top of your counter because of the height. They like to be able to observe and watch anything going on from an elevated place. It can be challenging, but the best thing that you can do is to never leave food out on the counter and regularly wipe down the counter so that a smell of food isn't lingering. Then provide an alternate place where you are comfortable with your cat sitting on. Maybe you want to give them a shelf that is in the kitchen or near the kitchen that they can sit on, where they can still watch you while you are cooking or in the kitchen, so that they can still be a part of the family when everyone's in the kitchen, but they have their own designated shelf, spot, cat tree, chair that they can sit on instead of being on the counter where food is. Provide them with alternative options for sitting up high. And make those options more attractive, more comfortable for your cat. Put a blanket, a pillow, something that is going to make your cat want to sit there instead of on the counter. Maybe that means you get a cat tree that is very tall that is visible from the kitchen, where your cat can sit even higher than the counter and watch you. Encourage them to use this cat tree or this perch, this elevated platform that you are giving them by playing with them on it, feeding them treats on it, interacting with them in ways that they find pleasurable while they are on it. It is important that you don't punish them for jumping on the countertops, things like spray bottles, hitting them, yelling at them, throwing them off the counter. Those are all punishments, and that will harm your relationship, your bond with your cat. Over time, your cat will learn not to trust you, will learn that you are not a safe, calm place for them. I know it can be really tempting to use punishment and things like spray bottles or making a loud noise to get your cat off the counter, especially when they're not learning or they're not getting that they're not allowed there. But over time, the best thing to do is continue to encourage them to use the platform, the cat tree, the elevated space that you have provided for them. If you really want a strong bond with your cat, a really positive, loving, trusting relationship with your cat, you cannot punish them. And cats, they remember the feelings that they associate with you. If they associate you with hurt or fear, it takes them time to rebuild that trust. The third most common issue is cats that bite or cats that attack people. I have a whole video on cat bites. I think I have two actually, and I also have other videos on teaching your cat to stay in a certain place. I've taught my cat sit on a mat when I am cooking. We used to do that. We don't do that anymore. It kind of just faded out because he didn't come around as often. He learned to sit without the mat. So check those videos out that go into a more detailed explanation or plan that you can do for your cat. But back to biting and attacking people. This tends to happen when your cat is overstimulated. That means that they are feeling overwhelmed. There is too much happening for them at once and they are feeling anxious or frustrated or even fearful. That's when they will bite or attack. This can often happen when they are playing or when you are petting them. It is really easy for cats to get overstimulated. What you need to do is look for the signs and the clues, get to know your cat, get to know general cat body language, how they are communicating to you, so that you know when they are becoming overstimulated. Before they get up to the point where they will bite or attack, there will be lots of signs, lots of signals. And if they are appearing to randomly attack, this could be them playing. For example, if you're walking and they just lunge out and attack your feet or your ankles, they are playing. This is them trying to engage with you, trying to play with you. So the best thing you can do in this situation is bring out a wand toy and start to play with them, or schedule a designated 5 minutes of your day, only 5 minutes, to play with them so that they will not attack your feet when you're walking, because they have gotten that play energy out already, or they know that you will be playing with them soon. It takes patience and it takes repetition. It isn't instant, but in the long run, there are so many benefits. If your cat is biting you or attacking you while you are petting them, this means that they have been communicating to you and you've been ignoring their signals, ignoring what they are saying. They are telling you that they've had enough and you ignored it, so they had to bite or attack. So learn their body language. Learn what they are communicating to you. Pay attention. Get to know your cat, their personality, their preferences, their patterns, and you can avoid biting and attacking. If your cat is on the younger side, these cats can get really overly enthusiastic when they are playing. But again, never punish your cat for biting or attacking, and know that you are the one who has missed the signals, missed the communication, and gone too far with your cat. Your cat was telling you, please stop, and you didn't. So they are making sure that you stop. Punishment should be avoided since it really makes cats fearful, which will result in more unwanted behaviors. A fearful cat, an anxious cat, becomes an aggressive cat, and that's the last thing you want. The fourth common problem is cats attacking other cats. I've had such a struggle with this in my household with multiple cats. Some cats can be bullies, but typically cats will attack another cat due to fear, territorial issues, or they're just trying to establish dominance. Cats have hierarchies, and if one cat wants to be the top cat, they will let the other cats know. You might have two cats trying to be top cat. Aggression is really common when you have multiple cats in a household. This is why it is really important, if you have multiple cats, to make sure you have many litter boxes as much as you can. You have enough toys, you have multiple water dishes, you have multiple feeding areas where cats aren't all feeding together at the same time. In my house, all the cats eat at the same time a day. I don't leave food out. They eat twice a day, and they get their meals in the same room, but all on opposite ends of the room, so that they don't see each other while they are eating. If they do, I have one cat that will just leave and not eat, and another cat that will eat really quickly and then try to eat the other cat's food, push them out of the way. Cats that will bat and hit and swat at each other, trying to get the other cat to leave so that they can get their food. So the cats, they can be in the same room, but they have to be far apart enough that they don't see each other. What works for you and your cats? Every cat is different, has different tolerances, different personalities. You might need to feed them in completely different rooms with closed doors where they are very separate. But making sure that you have enough resources for each cat. So if you have two cats, you should have 3 of the same toys. So there's 1 for each plus 1 extra. I always like to think, for multiple cat homes, 1 for each plus 1 extra. Goes for waters, litter boxes, toys, beds especially. I have like 3 beds per cat in different locations. If you have cat trees, have more than 1 cat tree. Scratching posts, you definitely need more than 1 scratching post. And you'll find that certain cats will only use their post. They won't go to the other cat's post, because when they scratch, they leave scent, and some cats don't like to mix their scent with another cat, so they need their own post. So always think how many cats you have plus 1 for everything that you supply your cat. And that even goes for our attention and how long we are playing with cats. Maybe some cats can play for 10 minutes and some can play for 5 and some can play for 3, but they're all getting playtime, one-on-one playtime with you. They're all getting cuddles and pets with you. They all are able to look out the window. That is something important for cats, to be able to observe and watch what's going on outside on the street, the birds or the people, whatever you can see from your household window. Do you have enough window spots where your cats can all get a chance to look out? There can be really small things that you don't even realize your cats are fighting over, like the spot of sunshine that is coming through the window, and they both want to lay in it. Some things like that you can't provide more than 1 of, but just be aware of what your cats are fighting over and do your best to ensure that they all get a chance. They're like little kids, you need to remind them to share. If you are introducing a new cat to an existing cat, the introduction is so important, and it often takes weeks or even months before you can really integrate them with each other. This is a whole another video. Let me know if you would like to know more about introducing cats to each other and how to do that successfully. Because remember, cats are very territorial. But really overall, you just want to go really slow with introductions, letting the cats smell each other before they see each other, letting the cats slowly get comfortable with each other instead of just throwing them together. Sometimes if you have 2 cats that have been attacking each other or bullying each other or bothering each other for an extended period of time, you will need to completely separate the cats for a long period of time, depending on how long the cats have been doing this and their personalities. It might need to be months. Every case is a little different, but sometimes know that you may need to completely separate them, keep them in areas of the house where they can't get to each other at all, can't interact, can't smell each other, and that can sometimes be really hard depending on your living situation. But if you get to this point, a slow reintroduction of the cats can be really helpful. And it is possible to get your cats maybe not to love each other, maybe not to sit together and cuddle together, but to at least be able to tolerate each other. The next common behavioral issue for cats is cats that destroy furniture. Cats that scratch couches, chairs, carpets, walls. I have a cat that actually will climb the wall, like the door frame. They'll climb up one side of the wall. Scratching is really normal cat behavior and you're not going to stop it. You have to give them outlets that are appropriate to scratch and climb. For my cat that likes to climb up walls, I had to provide a very long, tall scratching post that pretty much goes from the floor to the ceiling so she can crawl up the post like, I don't know, a bear or like a koala. Do they do that? An animal that climbs a tree and like hugs it. She does that and she'll climb up the post. But I noticed that was something she needed, so I had to provide her with that so that she wouldn't destroy my walls. Some cats like to scratch vertical, so putting a scratching pad just straight on the wall. Some like to do it on an angle, like a wedge, so getting a wedge or something that they can scratch more on the floor. Again, you have to get to know your cat. You have to try different things. Notice what they are scratching, whether that's the side of your couch, and try to provide them with something similar that they can just scratch to their heart's content. Scratching is really important for cats. They use it to mark their territory. They actually leave scent and information behind when they are scratching. It is also a stress relief for cats. One really great thing is when cats are provided with proper textures to scratch, they will usually leave your furniture walls alone because the appropriate cat scratchers they enjoy. There are different things like rope, carpet, cardboard. Test it out, see what your cat likes the most. Sprinkling a little catnip onto the scratcher really encourages your cat to use that scratcher more. The next common issue or cat behavioral problem is excessive vocalization, so lots of meowing. There are many reasons cats may meow and meow a lot. This could be a illness, like they are feeling pain and discomfort, so they're meowing to express that pain. They can also learn to meow to get your attention. Maybe they are meowing because they want their litter box cleaned or they want food or they are trying to tell you, communicate to you that they want something done or they want to have something. It could also mean that your cat is stressed or that your cat is bored. Try it with your cat when you find them meowing. If they are meowing in the middle of the night when you are trying to sleep, it is really, really helpful to play with them for 4 or 5 minutes, not long, before bedtime. Get energy out before you go to bed. Use a wand toy. These are the best toys to play with them. And just play with them 5 minutes before you go to sleep. An hour or so before you go to sleep. Also, having established routines, feeding your cat at the same time every day will help reduce meowing if they are trying to let you know that they're hungry. If you have a set time, they will get to know that this is the time, so they won't be asking for food all the time because they know it's coming at this time. They're actually really good at keeping track of time and when it is time to eat. Very similar to dogs. If they are meowing from stress or anxiety, this is when it's really important to provide them with enrichment. Give them things to play. Give them puzzles, food puzzles, things to do where they can use their brain, their mind. They need more stimulation in their life. They need more exercise, physical exercise and brain exercise. Hormones can also cause your cats to meow. Having your cat spayed or neutered can help with that. The next common issue is excessive grooming. This is often stress or anxiety, and your cat is trying to self-soothe. They can lick so much that they have bald spots, or it could be allergies or an infection. So make sure that it isn't a medical condition. And if it isn't, then it is boredom or stress, anxiety, which you can help by making sure that they feel safe and calm, relaxed, and provide them again with enrichment, with mental stimulation. Are they getting enough exercise? Are they getting enough physical exercise, mental exercise? Are they able to use their brains? Give them food puzzles. Play with them more. Play is so important for cats and can help with so many issues, especially stress and anxiety. Give them interactive toys that gets them running and jumping and chasing. The next common issue is cats that keep you up late at night. I talked a little bit about this already, But it is natural for cats at dawn and dusk to be the most active. This is when they are typically hunting or eating, and cats tend to get very excited and playful at these times. So do what you can to play with them during those times. If you are unable to, then pick another time where you play with them regularly. Tiring them out playing with them will help them sleep throughout the night. Increase their physical activity. A wand toy again is great for this because you can move it so that they are running and jumping and lunging in the air. I even had a cat who did backflips trying to get the wand toy. All of these common issues or behavioral challenges with cats usually stem from normal instinctual behavior or a need that your cat has that is not being met, or a desire for more play, more stimulation, more exercise, or to feel calmer and safer. There's no simple answer to these questions. There can be other factors. It's important to look at your cat's patterns and health and their own preference, their likes and dislikes, and your lifestyle as well. If you're ready to deepen your bond and your understanding with your cat, I have some courses for that, and I encourage you to check them out. It's not just about training or overcoming behavioral issues. They're really about bonding and developing your relationship and your understanding, learning how your cat is communicating with you, to you, really understanding your cat on a magical level, deepening the bond and relationship that you have with your cat. If you want a calmer and a more connected relationship with your cat, then I would love for you to work with me some more. I hope you were able to understand your cat a little bit more and have some insight into how you can help them with some behavioral issues or challenges that you may be having with your cat. Be sure to check out my other videos where I go deeper into some of these issues. But for now, please like and subscribe for similar videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
If your dog's behavior is getting louder, they're not being bad, they're responding to your energy. You want your relationship with your dog to feel calmer, easier, and more connected. This is where it begins, not with more discipline, but with alignment. Download my free guide, Manifest with Your Pet, to start building that energetic connection. Link in the description and pinned comment. And when you're ready, join Synergy, my 2026 program for turning you and your dog into intuitive, co-creating partners. Find more information below. Who do you want to be as a dog owner this year? Make 2026 the year you and your dog co-create the life of your dreams.